Apple forced me to cancel my Adobe subscription. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell. Apple's Creator Studio is here, and Adobe should probably be a little bit concerned. So here's what's included. Final Cut Pro for Mac and iPad, Logic Pro for Mac and iPad, Pixelmator Pro for Mac and iPad, which has never been a thing before, Motion for Mac, Compressor for Mac, MainStage for Mac, plus AI-enhanced versions of Keynote, Pages, Numbers, and coming soon, Freeform across all of your devices. Now that is $680 worth of apps, assuming of course you actually want them all, for $12.99 a month. Now, for reference, I was actually on an older grandfathered in photography plan with Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom for $14.99 a month, and I don't think I've ever opened Lightroom. I used Photoshop for my thumbnails here on YouTube pretty much most of the time, a few little bits of print stuff, so I think I'm going to be fine, and I'm saving a couple of bucks. Now, before you all get mad, because I know you really want to, as soon as you hear subscription, you can still buy those Mac apps outright. The Creator Studio versions will pick up more features going forward, that is true, but if you just want to do the one-time payment, you still can. The apps that you already bought will still work, and they will still get updates. And I get that people want to own their software, I do get it. But at the same time, there are others who don't have a big pile of cash to drop, especially when they've just bought their first Mac. And also, not everyone needs that software forever. Maybe you just need stuff to do a project and then you don't need it again. Maybe you're doing some kind of social media push for your local church. I don't know. You're you. But this is a pretty big deal that they can now get this whole suite for a very, very low price, just while they need it. Oh, and if you happen to be a student or an educator, it's $2.99 a month or $30 a year. That's crazy. But is there maybe a slightly darker side to this? Possibly. While Apple's big paid pro apps will carry on getting updates for those who do the one-time purchase thing, they won't get everything. Creative Studio will also include royalty-free images, a lot like Adobe stock, and some additional features within the apps, including those that Apple has included for free for years, like the iWork suite of Keynote, Pages, and Numbers. Those things are going to be not everything that you get with the subscription version. Of course, how much will be held back for the subscribers is yet to be seen, and whether some of those features will end up being more of a subscriber first model. Bear in mind that Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro for iPad have only ever been subscription products. So Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro on the iPad were $4.99 each. So if you were currently subscribing to them, $3 extra a month will get you a lot more. And I think to the point, Apple having recurring income on all of these apps will add pressure for them to more consistently add more content and features. You know, with Apple TV Plus or Apple Arcade, because they're subscriptions, if they just kind of launched Apple TV with all of the programs it started with and then given up, I don't think many people would still be subscribing. Apple is obliged to keep them up to date and current to keep those fees coming in, and the same should be true for these apps. The other big elephant in the room, of course, is Pixelmator Pro, which this is essentially Apple's answer to Photoshop. It's going to be available for iPad for the first time and optimized for the Apple Pencil, and you can use it on your desktop, and I think for 99% of people, it's going to do everything that Photoshop did for them if they happen to be a Photoshop user before. Now, this might not be the longest video in the world, but beyond Apple's own press release, we really don't know that much yet. And even the features that have been mentioned don't really tell us how good they're going to be. But as soon as I can get my hands on this suite, which is the 28th of January, I'll dive straight in and let you know if it's worth your money. Or rather, if it's worth my money. Your mileage may vary. Although I'm kind of surprised they're not bundling iCloud storage with this, just like they do with Apple One. But let me know your thoughts below and throw your questions in the normal way. Hashtag iCaveAnswers as always. And I know you guys are going to have opinions on this as soon as another subscription service lands. Thank you to the Patreons, and we will see you in the next one.